going for a triple. A third and 5 to the Undertaker. Brock Lesnar into the cover. Hooks the leg. The streak is over.
He's really made of. Why, he is the greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. He's slammed it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh, dropping a big leg. Over for the cover. It's over. He wants double leg hook up. No, couldn't get him once more. What a battle.
This is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
Small package right in the middle. No, Macho Man out.
No.
There was no two count there. Scooped in a slam position. Perhaps a slingshot coming up.
Wrestlecourt edition, and this Wrestlecourt edition obviously is going to feature SummerSlam, and I wanted to do a show right after night 2, but I was like, let me just sit back, let me look at the Raw highlights, and then really give you guys my whole overall take on not just SummerSlam, but stuff leading to SummerSlam. So I'm going to go through the matches, and then, I'm going to stop here and there. Of course, I have 2 interesting sound clips to play also, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to start with night 1. I'm going to start with night 1. I'm going to give my full ratings. I've been watching pro wrestling or sports entertainment, as some of you marks want to call it, for a very long time, more than 40 years. And first and foremost, SummerSlam needs to go back to one night. I know what Nick Khan is trying to do. I know what TKO is trying to do, this whole money thing that they're trying to, this whole money grab. It's not working. As you saw, there were a bunch of empty seats. If you go look at online, whatever social media platform that you use, there's so much video footage and photos that show you a plethora of open seats for both 1 and 2 nights. And it just kind of speaks volumes on, some people say it's because they're in Minnesota, but it has nothing to do with where they are. It doesn't matter. When the event is advertised properly, the storylines are properly, the hype is properly, fans will travel anywhere to watch a show, except for Saudi Arabia. I don't think that Saudi Arabia WrestleMania is going to go too well, but that's a whole different story. It might have the crowd because of the people there, but as far as the hype, we're almost 8-9 months away from that. So I won't get into that, but I could smell that coming with Saudi Arabia. But with SummerSlam and the way it went, I just don't see it. I really don't. I enjoyed it enough to say, hey, you know what, I could watch it, but this is something that I wouldn't pay for. SummerSlam should be a one-night event. I mean, WrestleMania, you could try to, dog it, get whatever you can get out of WrestleMania to the best of your ability, and then take it from there. But as far as SummerSlam is concerned, no, no way, no how, no way, no how. You should have just left it as one show. But speaking of that, I'll start off with night 1, as I said just before. And I'm going to start off with the first match with EO and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan hasn't defended the title in almost 100 days. EO Sky winning the Queen of the Ring, and then the match happening, the interferences from, of course, the Judgment Day, which is a faction that should have been disbanded how long ago. And, of course, Liv Morgan wins the match. I don't see the value in her holding the world title. I don't see the value in her at all. She's just very entertaining. She's loud. I just don't see it with her. Maybe because I'm an old school wrestling fan in terms of pro wrestling, Like, you got to have both. You got to have like, when I talk about entertaining and wrestling, you got legends like Sherry Martel, aka Sensational Sherry. You know what I mean? Like, she could wrestle, but she was also entertaining. She talked the talk on the mic, but she also knew how to wrestle. You know, Io Sky, unfortunately, is not great with English, but her wrestling is A level. So when you put these two in the ring, it just doesn't work. I just don't see it. Even in the King and Queen of the Ring, I watched that match. There's just something about that was missing. So I just didn't like the match. I didn't like the build up to it because Liv Morgan hasn't done anything at all with the world title. Um, and I'm going to probably mention this again later in the show. What happened to defending the title once a month? The old Jack Tunney rule, you know, or the 30-day title defense rule, which was something that was so implemented back in the days during the Vince McMahon era, which was really good for TV. You know, it gave something for the fans to really think about if the champion didn't defend the title within 30 days. You know, Hulk Hogan, of course, defended the title once every 30 days on a house show or a Saturday night's main event, or if there was a pay-per-view, one of the 4 major pay-per-views of the year. But yeah, nah, this match just whatever. The next match, the Usos versus Keys. Sorry, Usos and Fatu versus Keys, Knight, and of course Solo. The evolution of Solo, I love it. I love what they're doing with him. I love what Solo's doing. He's breaking out of that role. He's not an enforcer anymore. Jacob Fatu has taken over his role. And I'll get to the bloodline later on. Okay, I just think the bloodline's a waste of time now. I love Roman. I'm a Jey Uso fan. I hate what they're doing to Jey, but I'll get to that later on. But this match, another like whatever. You could have had this match on Raw. This was a match you could have had on Monday Night Raw. Like, really? Of course, Keys, Knight, and Solo winning the match. Solo had his moment doing Jay's thing. And then, as most of you who by now watched Raw or are avid Monday Night Raw watchers, you saw what Fatu did to um, Keys in that street fight. Like, what was the point of them winning that match if that was going to happen the next night? There's so many things to get into when it comes to booking and all that, but again, means nothing to me. Gunther and Nick Aldis. Gunther wins the match. Aldis came in with a lot of juice, a lot of hype. The aura was there. Of course, you knew Gunther was going to win. Next thing you know, right after, Triple H is like, oh, great job, blah, blah, blah. Reinstate him as general manager. Like, what? So that's it? That's all we're getting? Like, uh, so that itself was like, okay, whatever. And this will lead to Gunther in night 2, but I'll get to that afterwards. Fatal Influence versus the the Bella Twins and Paige. Fatal Influence, I like what I see from them. I like the outfits that they came in the ring with. JC Jane, if they use her properly, she could become a very good heel, and she's got some decent wrestling ability. And her tag team champion counterparts, they could be good too. They got to keep that with them. They're the first real NXT group to really come out and right off the jump, just do something in the female department. The other one that came right out of the jump, even before he went to the main roster, was Kevin Owens when he beat John Cena at that pay-per-view years back. I mean, look what he did to Trick Williams. Look what they've done to Carmelo Hayes, and just a plethora of them that it's just been something of like, whatever. Drew, he came back during his second stint. He had to go through that. That's a different story. But this NXT thing hasn't worked at all. Fatal Influence, hopefully they keep that going. They got something there. As far as the Bella Twins, I think Brie Bella got hurt. They turned on Paige, which I thought was stupid. Paige, I don't even know why they brought her back. I don't see any value in her at all. I don't see any wrestling. Those three women, the Bella Twins and Paige, there's no wrestling in them. There's no entertainment in them. And I'm not hating on them personally. They are probably fantastic human beings. But as far as wrestling and entertainment, that's a match I would have skipped. If you're watching it via Netflix now or you downloaded it, that's a fast forward situation. Fatal Influence, they know where they're going. They have the mojo. Hopefully they book them properly. I don't think they will because the WWE writers, it's a different story. Cody and CM Punk, the whole Sami Zayn thing, CM Punk winning just for the pop. This match wasn't good either. I didn't like it. I did not like CM Punk and Cody at all. And this is Cody's second straight main event pay-per-view match where it was salt. The Randy Orton match wasn't good at all. This wasn't good. This is two big bad matches for Cody. Where Cody goes from here, I don't know. Because funny enough, Randy Orton interferes, hits him with a really nice RKO, and then he bolts. CM Punk for the win, which leads to CM Punk with the title. Keeps the title. The rest is history. Oba and Brock. The buildup was fantastic. The match was probably 5 out of 10. There was just a lot of spots that just didn't work. I just feel like Brock, of course, announcing on the Pat McAfee show that he's done. And it sucks because I think Brock had a couple more matches left in him, but I understand where he's coming from. You don't quit when you're done. You quit when your mind is like, hey, I'm comfortable. You don't quit when you're done. When I say you're done is when you're mashed up and all that stuff. But Oba is the future. But how is WWE going to market him? He has a title match in the wings. Who's he going to pick? How are they going to book that? He was supposed to fight at SummerSlam. They were better off him fighting at SummerSlam. Like I said, one of the suggestions that I made to several wrestling counterparts to or fans like myself was Oba wins night 1, night 2 defends the title. Oh, he can't fight 2 nights. Yes, he can. You put him in 2 nights, fans will show up. I'll definitely watch. He wins night 1, defends it night 2. Really, you really set this guy up to being the new beast that everybody says he's supposed to be, being the ruler that he is. So, it just, night 1, I'll give night 1 a 5.5 out of 10. I'll be honest. Only 6 matches. You're spending that kind of money for 6 matches. Like, again, SummerSlam should have been 1 night. So next up is night 2. But before we go to night 2, I'm going to play this clip from Vince Russo via the Coach and Bro show with Jonathan Coachman. And then I'll continue on with night 2.
Isn't a major player, and Miz's time is come and gone. So if you want to do comedy with them, that's fine. Dom is young, good-looking, athletic, the future of the company. He had more heel heat than he knew what to do with. Wrong guy to put in that spot. That's all I'm saying. This Dom could be a top heel, bro. Remember the time when he couldn't say anything into the mic? They were pulling him out of the building. Wrong guy to put in that. Put Tozawa in that spot. Put Otis in that spot. Put R-Truth in that spot. You've got comedians on the show to put in that spot. You don't put Dominic in that spot. And bro, on SmackDown, you had the little people laying out Dominic.
Yes.
Really, bro? Like, really? We could not find somebody else for that spot.
Night 2. I'm going to start night 2 with Dominic and Danhausen. I'll say this. I like Danhausen. I do. I think he's great for kids. I think he's great for a lot of reasons. I really do. I like him. I do. But I mean, of course, he was misused in AEW, but this was foolishness. This is high level foolishness. Like, I'm sorry, this was foolishness. Danhausen took the spot of multiple guys that should have been there. Dominic Mysterio is the AAA World Heavyweight Champion. Why couldn't he not defend the AAA Championship for the first time at SummerSlam? Attract the Mexican audience, attract the international wrestling fan audience. Instead, you put him in the ring with Danhausen for a comedy flick. And as Vince Russo mentioned, Dominic probably was not too happy about that or wasn't too impressed. I just think this whole gimmick was dumb, and I got nothing against Dominic. Dominic could be a good heel, and Danhausen could be great for WWE. But to have this particular match was just an absolute no-no as far as I'm concerned. And I'll leave it at that with those two. But WWE booking has just continued to fail the audience, and now it shows the ticket sales. Like if you've ever watched Unreal, I've watched clips of Unreal, and I see some of the people sitting in that war room. Triple H is not a writer. The only guy that was sitting in some of those highlights in that room is, of course, Paul Heyman, who did a fantastic job when he took over SmackDown years back, and he turned Benoit, Edge, Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho. I forget who else was part of that, but there was, I think it was 6 guys in total. He took all of them and he completely turned SmackDown into the #1 show until Vince had to beg him to stop booking. The rest of these people are whoever's. It's like asking a bartender to be your personal accountant. That's what they have in that war. And they will not understand that it's not working. It's a level of stubbornness I've never seen. And this Danhausen Dominic Mysterio match is another example. Sami Zayn and Finn Balor becomes a 4-way match. So Gunther, of course, Nick Aldis, now back as the GM, says, hey, guys, hey, boom, boom, boom. He gets added to the match. And then the pop of the night brings Kevin Owens in. I'm so happy that Kevin Owens is back because I didn't think he was going to come back. He had surgery last July. Everything went well. There was nothing to really set up this pop at all. Kevin Owens wins, becomes the #1 contender. Now he's going to fight CM Punk. I don't know how they're going to write that storyline. That's another situation. But again, like, where are they going to go with this? Because when Kevin Owens loses to CM Punk, how are they going to continue to book him? Where are they going to throw him to the pastures again? Like, what's going to happen after this? I mean, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes last year going into the Royal Rumble, that storyline was fantastic with him stealing the original WWE title and all this crazy stuff. It was fantastic. Kevin Owens is great in help telling a story. He's fantastic. Some people say whatever, but he can say whatever about him. He knows how to tell a story by how he performs, and it's amazing. Sammy's good too. You can say whatever you want about Sammy. Is Sammy a champion to sell tickets and do all the little promotional stuff and kiss babies? No, but Sammy's good. Finn Balor, a fantastic wrestler. Gunther's an old school wrestler. They need to do something with all 4 of these guys. I don't know what they're doing. These are all NXT guys. This is their system, their NXT guys, and they failed every single one of them. They failed Gunther. The Intercontinental Championship reign was fantastic. It was a fantastic reign. But the world title reign should have been just as much. They failed him. They failed Finn Balor. Let's not talk about that. Sami Zayn, let's not talk about that. And Kevin Owens, thank God he's back. But gosh, when he came in, he was a gulf of blazing fire when he was NXT champion coming to Raw years back. And then up and down with him. Like, what are they doing? I don't know. Anyways, Trick Williams and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin comes out of the darkness. Boom, hits a couple of end of days. Boom, there's their match. Carmelo Hayes is completely out of the picture. We don't know where he is or what's going to happen with him. This match happens. Of course, Baron Corbin wins the title. Where does this go from here? Who knows? Like I told you guys, this show's not going to be long. Like, this is just bad. Like, WWE doesn't know what. Penta and Chad Gable. I expected this match to have that ultimate push. It was okay. Congratulations to both because they did put on a good match. But it was just like the storyline was just like, no. And how long are they going to keep the title on Chad? Because it's a hometown championship win, right? How long are they going to keep it on him before they take it from him? Who knows? So he can lose it in a house show. Who knows? You never know how WWE is going to operate. So stay tuned for that. But then this match. So we have a 5-way match. Charlotte, Lash Legend, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, and Tiffany Stratton for the interim WWE Women's Championship. When the hell have we ever had an interim championship in WWE? Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. 30 days as champion or you get stripped. Rhea Ripley hasn't defended the title all along. Strip her the damn title. Give her a storyline to come back and chase the title again. Why the hell is Rhea Ripley the champion? Why is there an interim champion? What is this, UFC rules now? I know the TKO owns the same company, but what? Are we implementing UFC rules in WWE situations now? Like, this is foolishness. Interim championship match? Oh my God. Shout out to Chelsea Green, the Canadian, winning the match, but still, like, and shout out to Jade Cargill and Lash Legend. Those two right there, you need to do something with them. And Charlotte's an absolute pro. Tiffany Stratton, she all right, but whatever. Lash Legend and Jade Cargill, they got to do something with those two. Chelsea Green, what? Rhea's going to come back, smash her to smithereens, and then whatever. Like, I just feel like this should have been for the actual title. Strip her with a title. Like, that's not good marketing. Like, that's dumb. Interim championship is like, hold my keys for my car until I come back from the bathroom. That's what that is. Like, whatever. Anyways, Seth and Roman. The long Shield story. The story never interests me. The promos were okay, but the match was fantastic. The best match of the whole 2 nights. It was long, but it was good. I mean, Roman is going to be Roman. I know there's some people that have things to say about him. I'm going to play a clip after this, and I'll continue on with that. But, it kind of puts end to a story. But again, what are you doing with Seth after that? What are you going to do with Seth? What is he going to fight for? Like, what is he going to fight for? Is he going to go to SmackDown and fight for the world title while you got Kevin Owens waiting for it? You got Gunther still wanting it. Sami Zayn still crying about it. Finn wants something. Damian Priest apparently wants a shot. Recently had a big rant. They're probably going to put him in the doghouse. And what about Obafemi? Who is he going to take the title off of? Because whoever he picks, he's damn taking the title off of them. And how are they going to market him after that? But Roman, Roman is Roman. Some people don't like the fact that he was shoved down our throats by Vince, which he was. A lot of us weren't ready for. I wasn't ready for him. I wasn't interested. I shouldn't say I wasn't ready for Roman. What I'll say is I just didn't care for him in that big spot moment. Even when Seth cashed it in at WrestleMania, I was like, okay, whatever. I actually felt that was the right move. I really did. I felt that was a fantastic decision by Vince. One of the greatest endings to a pro wrestling match in history. Nobody expected that. The heist of the century. They've tried to duplicate it a couple times, but of course it sucked. But yeah, the ending to this, the ending was nice. Them doing the Shield thing, finally kind of putting that to rest. Of course, there's no Dean Ambrose. But it's over for me. Like, I just looked at this. I'm like, okay, Your best match was your last match out of 12 matches. So, this show, same thing. From what I saw and what I think, same thing. 5.5 out of 10. I just can't give it a 6 or 7. I don't see that push that I'm like, yeah, this is a great, like, this SummerSlam should have been condensed to one night. And if it is one night with these matches, I'm definitely taking out the women's interim championship match. I'm definitely taking out Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. That match is definitely not happening. The 4-way match for the world title, I'm taking that out. Makes no sense. I'm taking out Liv versus Io. And I'm taking out Gunther versus Nick Aldis. The rest you could keep and add a couple more matches. Those are all pointless matches. Interim championship, completely pointless. Liv Morgan defending a title she's never defended. Her first title defense in 100+ days, pointless. Nick Aldis and Gunther, as I said, pointless. Just a lot of pointlessness in here. So, but now the next clip is going to be Conrad Thompson. So this guy has done stuff with Eric Bischoff, Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett. He's done podcasts with them. He's a real estate guy from Alabama. And he's apparently, if I'm correct, married to one of Ric Flair's daughters. So this was his take on Roman Reigns. I felt it was interesting. I mean, if you're a personal guy and you feel jabs by these non-ever guys who've never wrestled in their life, he don't look like an athlete. He looks like Brian Windhorst. Let's just keep it 100. You could tell he's never thing. They say he's a former wrestler promoter, but he had a good take, and then I'm going to give you my take on what he said in this whole thing.
I'm going to give you a hot take that's going to annoy you and probably piss you off, but here goes. I think Roman Reigns is probably the most overrated main eventer in WWE history. Like, I know this isn't a wrestling term, it's a music term, but Roman Reigns is what music would call an industry plant. I don't think if Roman Reigns disappears tomorrow, WWE's fortune changes at all. I think, they pushed him so hard against the grain. Down our throats is the phrase that Triple H would use about why they're not pushing Braun Breaker. Well, they pushed Roman down our throats forever. We had a good storyline with the bloodline, but now that the bloodline is sort of, it feels like it's into its black and silver era of the NWO. It's kind of like, it was a fun moment in time, but it's time to move on. I just don't know that there's any really, truly fanatical Roman Reigns fans. Like if they booked Roman the way they do Punk or the way they do Cody or the way they do anyway, I just feel like he has just we've been conditioned to believe he's the top guy, but there's no real reason. I don't know that anybody could say, here's my favorite Roman match or here's my favorite. When people talk about their favorite match ever, how many people list a Roman Reigns match? How many people list their favorite promo ever as a Roman Reigns match? And it's not like he's doing the world PR tour and doing all the heavy lifting like they have a Cody Rhodes or before that, a John Cena doing. He just flies in, takes 12 minutes to get to the ring, wrestles kind of the same match, does it really, really slow, gets his hand raised, and he moves on. He's Goldberg if Goldberg worked more than 10 minutes. What say you?
So that was Conrad Thompson's take on Roman Reigns and what he thinks about him. And I'll say this. I like the evolution of Roman. He needed that because he was getting booed out of the building. Vince was trying to make him the guy. You saw those matches with The Undertaker, the one at WrestleMania, horrible response. It was just a bunch of getting booed at the Royal Rumble until The Rock had to come in and help him out. When he went away after what happened to him, which was crazy, glad to have him back after that fight. He conquered it. He aligns himself with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was the perfect match for him after all of this. Roman recuperated, regathered, retooled. He just kind of put himself in the position to transform himself into something that he should have been, according to them in the beginning, but he had to go through this transition. All these events that happened to Roman Reigns was part of the cycle for him to get where he is today. So when people say he should have been, no. This was part of the process. And he conquered all the obstacles in his way, and I was very happy for that. And he finally got back into the ring, aligned himself with Paul Heyman, formed the original bloodline, and the rest is history. Yes, he was a part-timer, but that's WWE's fault. They allowed it to happen. So I want to hear he did it. They allowed it to him. They pay him. And then recently reforming it after WrestleMania, now Jacob Fatu is the new Solo Sikoa. No. I just think the bloodline situation, to be honest with you, in my opinion, it's done. Jey Uso has been relegated back to even less than what he was when he had those matches with Roman, the one at SummerSlam and the one during the pandemic. He might not be a world championship guy, but he's a hype machine and he brings people to the building. Give him an Intercontinental Championship. Give him a U.S. title. Give him that position where he wins big matches. Now you have him back in the tag team with his brother. So you tried to do the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels thing, and then you turn him into Marty Jannetty and Jim Neidhart. That's what you did with him. Because look what he was doing last year. We knew that Jimmy is not the guy. He was the next Marty Jannetty, Jim Neidhart, whoever. Then you decide to bring Jay back and turn him into Jim Neidhart and and Marty Jannetty. It's crazy. I just believe that the bloodline storyline has it's run its course. It's run its course. It was great. Roman is never going to be a heel again. The fans love it. Jacob Fatu and Roman, I don't see it working. That storyline with those two right after Mania was fantastic, and they just rushed it. They could have stretched that till SummerSlam. Jacob Fatu shockingly wins the world title and then runs his own thing. Give him that moment. It's just like how I felt years back when Owen and Brett were in the cage. I felt Owen should have won. I think Owen winning the title, even if it was for one pay-per-view or until Survivor Series, would have changed things. And this is the ego of Vince back then. This is the ego of Triple H. Jacob Fatu should have had that title around his waist. It not only helps the history of that family, but it helps the storyline. So I just feel like all that stuff that Conrad said, the one thing I do agree is the bloodline is stale. But Roman is not as bad. I like to see Roman. Because if Roman's gone, who you want to see? You want to see Seth? CM Punk? CM Punk sells tickets when he's in Chicago. Seth. And then on top of that, the Raw was in Des Moines, Iowa. Seth Rollins is from Iowa. He wasn't even on the show. That's crazy. At least have him make an appearance on the show. There is just so much wrong with WWE booking. It's just absolutely disgusting. Like, it's just awful. Goddamn awful with their booking. And if you guys don't want to believe me, go watch that Unreal. Don't watch all of it. Just watch a couple episodes. Or just watch clips from Unreal. It's like, what? These are things that we already know, but it's just the extra parts of it is like, oh my God. So, folks, that was my SummerSlam breakdown, take, all that good stuff. This show is available, as you know, Spotify, Apple, and this episode will be uploaded on YouTube. So check it out. SummerSlam 2026 recap. This is Wrestlecourt signing out. Peace.